you now manage the cloud business.
Yeah.
And that's as wide as the cloud, right? So there is no boundaries there. Right? And people say you have to balance depth and breadth.
Yes.
Correct? How do you do that, Irina?
Yeah. So a lot of times people ask me also this about being a generalist or versus going deep into one area, right? I think the way customers are looking at solving their business problem, and possibly the pandemic has accelerated that even more. In the last 24 months, everybody wants to get an end-to-end picture about what it will bring to them if they do something, right? So what happens is that inevitably you will be thinking of adjacencies of your story. If you're taking across a security solution, what does it do to your productivity, and where will the data be kind of feeding by, which infrastructure it will be going across? So luckily, again, because of the privilege of leading all the solution areas, I kind of got a lot into the storytelling narrative, right? Because at the end of the day, the technology will do things, but how this entire story will help solve things for what it will mean for my customer's customer. Right? So that's the part which becomes very important. And what I typically do is I try to learn by use cases in terms of what is it in the customer's use case scenario that I'm literally trying to solve. And hence, to solve that, you need an array of various things which you take to the customer to solve it. And that definitely brings back the thing in terms of stitching the entire story, connecting the dots, and then kind of taking it back.
Beautiful, beautiful. You mentioned storytelling, Irina, correct? And both of us know that visualization and storytelling are some of the important elements because we sacrifice so much to the logical and rational that we don't get the right side of the brain to work.
Yeah.
Right? How did you manage that? This visualization, storytelling, Irina, how did you develop that skill?
I would say it came somewhere in a part of my overall journey, which I didn't know. And I realized when I started writing. And when I started writing, I remember the first time I was writing my first LinkedIn blog. That was about 5 years back. I remember because I'd finished my 15 years in Microsoft. And I was very nervous, very edgy, thinking the world is watching my next blog to come out, which wasn't, of course, the case. But once I wrote it, I realized that, I had a flair of a narrative which was kind of growing up, because you were kind of reading things, and writing got me to realize that the part of the storytelling was there, which I didn't realize as well. And which is what I tell people as well, that all of us have that element of storytelling, but when we are verbalizing the conversation, you never get to know that you are a storyteller. But the minute you start writing something and then publishing it, whatever be that small blog, 2 paragraphs, etc., something as a note to your team or something which you're speaking across externally, that is when you realize that, yes, there is an image that you have and a story. I must also say that, when I speak to my team members, whenever there is a planning, brainstorming conversation, all my kickoffs start with a story.
Oh, wow. You mastered the art now.
Yes. The messages are all through stories of events, people, etc. And people will actually remember my story and hence the message, and never the other way around.
Exactly. Beautiful.